ask you if you're a runner and they go, oh, have you been to the Olympics? It's always like the go-to question, and I used to have to say, oh no, but you know, I've done other things. So now it's nice to actually be able to say, yeah, yes, I've made it, and it's a lot of sacrifice. And I think people forget, you know, like when you're on the start line, it's just you, but it's not just you. You know, there's a whole like support team back at home that have been through so much. Like, I was kicking myself for, you know, I think I was 17, and I just thought, oh, maybe I'm a bit too young for like this event. And I think I come third at the Olympic trials in the 800. So you know, I was close, but not close enough. So when I was watching it, I just remember thinking, I don't want to miss out on this. Like, I'd love to give it a go. And then obviously 2016 didn't go well. I tore my hamstring, and I think the Olympics is so hard because it's only every 4 years, or in this case 5, and it comes around so like rarely that it's hard to be in the right shape. But to actually say that I'm an Olympian now just feels, yeah, it feels amazing. Originally, you know, I did the 800, and I didn't, like 2 minutes of running, I found I was just getting too nervous before races about, you know, if I was in the wrong position, because you do all that training for 2 minutes of running. I really struggled to get my head around it. So that's why I really like dedicated myself to the 1500. I just thought it's that little bit longer. And then when I was doing the 1500, I found myself wanting to do more mileage in the winter. It was one of those things where I really enjoyed the cross country, and I really enjoyed like the road races in the winter. And I just found that I was getting drawn more to the 5K type sessions. So I just wanted to give that a go, and I really enjoyed just being out on the track for like a little bit longer again. You know, you can kind of work the race in a different way. In the 1500, you kind of have to be on it all the time, and you have to think on the spot a lot more in the 5 because there's so much more time. And then the 10K I kind of just got into because of all the winter work. Like, I wanted to do a half marathon, and that was kind of what I wanted to do in the winter. And then I thought, if I've done all this work, like, I wonder what 10K shape I'm in. So I kind of just started the year thinking I'll give one a go if I got the 5K Olympic time out of the way, which I did. And then to miss it by a second in the 10K, I thought, oh, I should give it a go again, because, you know, I've got so close, it would be unfair not to do it again. And yeah, to get the time and qualify, it's literally the second time I've done the 10K on the track, and I just didn't expect, that was a really big shock for me. I just didn't expect that to go so well. So I think I'll probably have to focus a bit more on the 10K in the next couple of years. If it's a session day, yeah, I'll shake out at like 12, do a session in the afternoon, and then probably get in the gym straight away. I'll probably double, I say 4 times a week. In the winter, it might creep up to say 5, but yeah, in the summer, anywhere from 3 to 4 like days a week, I'll try and like do a shakeout or double. And I normally do my sessions say Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and the other days are just running. And Sunday will be like my longest run of the week, probably. It just depends with races. Sometimes that changes. In the summer, you can't quite do as many miles on the weekend, but yeah, in the winter, I'd kind of do say 16, 18 miles. 18 is the absolute maximum for me on the long run, but in the summer that comes down to about 12. It's just not a priority for me to just get the mileage as high. So yeah, it tends to change. So in the winter, about 90-mile weeks, and then in the summer, probably anywhere from 60. The mileage definitely drops, but the intensity just goes up. So it's kind of really different phases. My track sessions, I love wearing like the Rocket X. That's like my favourite, probably like speedy shoe. I love that. I love the way that after a hard track session, the next day I'm tired, but I'm not completely ruined. Like, I feel like I have that padding. I can get up on my toe, and yeah, I love that shoe. And especially because sometimes I warm up in the same shoes that I train in. If I run from my house to the track, it's 3 miles, so I normally wear the same shoe, and it's one of those on the way back. I feel like I'm still getting a response, which is lovely for a warm down. sessions probably from when I was doing like 1500 metre training, so I normally do like 500 metre reps, or like say 6 500 metre reps, and that used to be at like 15 pace. But yeah, it's been a while since I've probably done much 1500 metre training. It's kind of moved to the 5 and 10k, but yeah, in like the summer I've just done a ridiculous amount of 1200 metre reps. So over the years I've had like a difficult, relationship with nutrition. I think it's fun, especially when I moved to university. I found that I put on a bit of weight. I think I was socialising a little bit more. You're staying up a bit later and cooking for yourself, which is difficult anyway. Like when you move away from home, it's really tricky. But I think when you're a runner as well, trying to fit it in around training, it was a struggle. So I think after that, I started to get a bit of like an unhealthy obsession with food and trying to work out how much I could eat a day. So I've kind of been through loads of different, like crazes really, where I was a vegetarian for like, I think about 4 years, then pescatarian because I realised that I love fish, and now fully back to, eating whatever I want. And I think that's the thing. In the winter, it's more about just getting fuel in. If you're running a lot of miles and you're doing a lot of sessions, I think I've tried to rewire myself to think it's not bad. If I'm hungry, just eat, and it's just healthier for me. Like I just feel like I have a healthier obsession now with food. Now, as long as I'm eating like the right things to have a snack or cake or anything like that around that, it doesn't matter. Bruce is a really good distraction. We fit in our walks sometimes of, like I'll take him out for a 4-mile run, and yeah, he absolutely loves it. But yeah, he's not very good in sessions. So we've taken him for hill sessions before, and he's just a disaster. He just gets in the way. He thinks it's a game. He thinks you're chasing him. But yeah, he's a great training partner, and he's just a little bit mad. Doing a PhD is really nice, I think, for me, because it's a different distraction. It's perfect when things might not be going as well with running, or if you start getting like niggles or injuries, to have something else to focus on and have a different outlet is lovely. Obviously, when it goes really well, it's difficult because you're away. But my supervisors are really like good, and they know everything that I'm balancing. So I think it's just about being honest and saying about your workload that actually I can't come into the lab, I can't do quite as much. I think it was just before Christmas, like we were sort of lulled into a false sense of security. So in September we went to Cornwall and we thought everything was getting better, and then straight away we went back into lockdown, I think sort of October. So we decided to make our garage into a gym. So Rob's brother's an electrician, so he helped and like sorted it all, and we kind of just thought if this happens again, we're in a really good position. And it just makes it so much easier, that you don't have to travel, and sometimes it's really hard for me to do the gym. I love running, and I find that I just want to run more, but obviously that strength stuff is really important too, and having it like literally in my house is ideal because it makes me like do it, because otherwise I just wouldn't bother. I think the piece of advice I wish I knew earlier is to enjoy it. I think you start running because you want to. It's one of those things that you want to do well at it, and you want to just have that feeling of you could have a terrible day at work, or you can just be like emotionally a bit drained, and actually going for a run, it might seem like the furthest thing you want to do, but once you're out there running you feel so much better. And that's why I started running, because I just loved it. I love socialising with friends, I love training and pushing myself as hard as I could. And I think sometimes on your journey you kind of forget why you started. You forget that there is a reason that you put this much like mileage in, or you run when the weather's awful because you enjoy it. And I think sometimes when races go really well and then you have a dip in performance, it's easy to just get really disheartened and hate it. So for me, it's, yeah, try and enjoy it and remember why you started, and that the tough times don't last, but you know, like the things you gain from running. Like I managed to have travelled all over the world and made friends in loads of different countries, and I think that's really important to me, and it's like why I do it. And you know, if you have a good reason for doing it, when it goes badly, it's not the end of the world, because you know that you're in a better place anyway just from starting.